All right, y'all. Checking to see if it's still glitching. I hope not. We back. We back. Okay. Let me know if I'm coming through clear. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I still glitching? Yay or nay? We back. Sounds good? Okay. All right, everybody. Israelite Jews, shalom, shalom. Okay, everybody coming back in. Okay. All right. Ned, clear on your side. Sounds good. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. All right, y'all. So, matter of fact, wow, everybody's still coming back in. Let me pull it up real quick just to make sure y'all get the right one. Hold on. Yep, this one right here. Let me get this. I'm gonna give y'all this YouTube preview link. Okay. That's a YouTube preview link for the trailer of Evil. And you, like I said, you can it's on Amazon, but you got to pay for Amazon. Let me see if I can post it here on Facebook. Okay. Okay. So everybody should be able to find it from there. That way when you see their faces when you go to oh, hold on. Stream. It's on Paramount Plus too. That's the channel. Okay, so I guess you got to pay for it, but it say try it for free. I don't know. Okay, so you should be able to find it from there. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and start chapter 7, Countless Mental Vagaries. And it starts with like a quote from a book, 30 Years Among the Dead. I actually got that, but I haven't started reading that yet. Um, but I'm super interested in a lot of this stuff. Okay. Being a being a Hebrew, Tikva said, "Hey girl, hey, being a Hebrew Israelite has stopped me from watching it before." Yeah, I know. Look, it's a lot of stuff that I was like, nope, got to stay away from that. But now with some things that I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should go look at this. A lot of those things that I've decided to go back and look at, it gives me a lot of insight into some things that I'm learning now as I'm growing spiritually, right? And it helps me to formulate some more questions to make sure I'm properly understanding stuff. Use Hollywood for its strengths, right? And I've been learning to do that as I grow spiritually, learning spiritual principles and stuff, and seeing how Hollywood puts it everywhere all the time in movies, right? Okay. Okay. Quote, we're on page 159, chapter 7, Countless Mental Vagaries. Quote, humanity is surrounded by the thought forces of millions of discarnate beings who have not yet arrived at a full realization of life's higher purposes. A recognition of this fact accounts for a great portion of unbidden thoughts, emotions, unreasonable impulses, irrational outbursts of temper, uncontrolled infatuations, and countless other mental vagaries. End quote. Carl Wickland, 30 Years Among the Dead. BC, shalom, shalom. Although Dr. Wickland's eye opening discoveries go back 100 years, more on Wickland in chapter 11, the forces of scientific materialism, SciMat for short, have held the stage, leaving us with a lame and shallow science of mind. While SciMat prides itself on its scientific rigor, its methods are often flawed. It is, however, a science that has proven to be a itself on data that is strictly empirical, rational, and objective, the human psyche, perforce, remains a subjective, even mysterious thing. In the words of Dr. Keith Abloh, quote, the field of psychiatry, in its zeal to mimic objective science, has all but ignored the critical issues inherent in patients' lives. It has lost sight of the soul while looking into the microscopic detail at the brain. End quote. That's good. Abloh, 1994, page 57. Maybe, just maybe, I don't know, maybe when I'm sure that law enforcement, and not necessarily sure about the psychiatry field or whatever, if they use nowadays, because it's everywhere, I wonder if they use social media to help them with some of their investigation, right? And with that being said, like I'm sure they do, because they pulling stuff, like people randomly posting stuff and videos, and they actually using this stuff and using it as evidence in court videos and stuff like this, right? So um if they're doing that, I wonder if they're also looking for clues as to what might be happening with some people who are having mental breakdowns or mental illnesses. They're probably looking for ways, different things that have been uploaded from all around the world, maybe similar occurrences, looking at different things, comparing some of the cases. I'm wondering if that's the case, if they might also be looking into the spiritual side of things by also kind of Googling and just kind of weeding out like the truth from the error, kind of like what they're doing in that movie Evil, just to kind of see, okay, what's what, right? And should this be taken seriously? Well, I'm not a Catholic and I don't pray that much, but something ain't right here, and I think it's of yeah, Pooh, you can have it. What do you heat it up? Okay, hold on one second, y'all. Where's your plate? You left it in there.
Over there. I'm eating.
Okay. So I'm wondering if not saying they might not even find my channel. I'm thinking as we're going through this, they may not know that Susan B. Martinez's book even exists. And it could really help them at least to have a little bit more insight into what might be happening with some of their patients or victims or whatever cases they're looking at. Maybe we might be able to help them without us knowing. When we start talking about some of this stuff and like the different cases on the news, maybe people start, if more people are talking about it and they can find links to things like this that can kind of help them make sense of some of this stuff, and not just continue explaining stuff away, it might a lot more people might be delivered or helped, or be set free from invading spirits, right? So anytime we see, or I see, or if y'all see and I don't see, like links to articles or things that happen, y'all think we should probably read that, hey, look at this, what do you think about this, like classic case for demonic possession or whatever, we can kind of talk about it. I was thinking about developing like a list of questions or something, to kind of like go through, kind of like to decipher kind of like what they're doing. I was already thinking about it, especially looking at the Walmart thing and then reading about the 10-year-old guy. I really wanted to say more on that, but I had to get the class, and I couldn't spend as much time on it as I want to when I didn't like the questions and stuff. But I wanted to talk to y'all just a little bit more about that. But now that this has come up, I think Evil is a good series where it kind of brings some of those things out that I was thinking about. I'm like, oh, that's good. Yeah. And it kind of helped decipher. So if you got people in law enforcement or in psychiatry that are not spiritually trained, where they're looking into this, like, because when they run into walls, they get to Googling and looking up resources and stuff too. They start looking at previous medical cases and different things like that. And I don't know, if we just out there, we might come up and we might be able to put them on to something. Hey, look into this. I don't know. So I would like to do that. If y'all see an article or something y'all don't know, Let us know. Give us the link. We'll read it. We'll read it out loud, right? Well, it helped me understand things. Your mother killed her son, and they just found. I saw that. Oh my! You know what? I just saw a glimpse. I couldn't. I couldn't even finish watching the video. Right? Are you talking about the little boy that they found in the washing machine? I couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't get through that one. Just because I really feel some type of way. Like I really love children, right? And it burns me to see somebody taking it, not just of children, but older people. It I hate to see people abuse their power and abuse their strength to take advantage of somebody that can't defend themselves, right? It really blows me. And it's really hard for me to watch things with children who are being because they're so helpless, and it's just I couldn't get through that one. So y'all would have to forgive me. Some cases might be good, but some things I can't do at this moment. I got babies. I'm looking at the ages of him. He was 6, right? Isaiah, Isaiah. No, I'm sorry, not Isaiah. Bella is 6, right? I'm just like, I can't. All right. But some of these I would like to talk about. I'm gonna have to be. Maybe somebody else can do. When y'all bring it up or something, maybe talk about it somewhere else or whatever. But I don't think I'd be able to read one of those without tearing up and crying all over the place. So anything that got to do with children of that nature right there, I probably won't be able to read. If we talk about it, it's just gonna have to be like the facts. I may not be able to read it out loud or something. I may have to bring somebody else. Give y'all the link. Everybody go read that. But yeah, talk about it and just kind of see, because even I know people, I personally know people that are dealing with some things, and a couple of them were kind of wondering, is it just you there, or have you been infiltrated? And one, we are almost certain that at times their native spirit is put in abeyance. But at times it seemed like this person might be playing you, right? So sometimes it's like, yo, they playing. Because but then it's like, oh, it's a really fine line. And I'm not like a certified professional. I'm just now learning about some of these things, but I pick up on some of the spiritual cues that's happening, and some of the third person talking, and just all of these little small things, and the lost time, and the like, all of these things, right? So you want to be mindful, and I'm not trying to misdiagnose, neither am I trying to give a diagnosis to anybody, but just want to be aware of things. And if it's something spiritual, that's what we're learning. We're gonna help people get free by first being informed, right? We ain't going to perform no kind of exorcisms or nothing like that, but if we can recognize something is happening, we can treat it appropriately, or get the proper help that's needed to make sure this person is delivered and truly get set free, like forever, right? Not one of them fake freedoms of fake devil casting out sessions and stuff like that, right?
I'm gonna be honest.
What? Wait, what time you supposed to?
It's up the street. It only takes me 3 minutes.
Okay, don't be playing around with your time, son.
Never.
Remember,
But
on time is late.
I'm gonna be honest.
15 minutes early is on time.
I'm 20 minutes early. But
well, you still standing here trying to talk to the people, so you need to get out of here.
To be honest, this is the last thing before I go. You know that whole church thing when they was doing all that hullabaloo, hollering, screaming, faint, and then they fall out on the front stage and put the cover over them.
Oh, you just talking about in general?
Yeah, in general. You know when they do that? Remember when you took me to church and they did that? I tried to hold my laugh. I tried to hold in my laugh because I know if I would have laughed, Dad would have said something. I would have been in trouble. And so with Mom, I thought it was funny. I would look at them like, what is y'all doing? This looks so stupid. And I was like, I look at Mom one good time. I said, you better not ever go up there. In my head, I'm just like, do not ever go up there. Do not embarrass me like that. Because if I have to deal with Mom and Dad,
first of all, have you ever seen us do that?
Never. But I was hoping I never go in the middle of
anything. Bella, stop. Go back in there. If anything, y'all probably didn't see us. Me and your daddy was quietly talking about the people that was up there.
What? It wasn't me and your dad. Huh? He was the one that brought it up, wasn't it?
No. We know when the shenanigans about to go down, especially Miss Sophia walking down that aisle holding on to her wig. Just like God. That. Yo. Putting one foot in front of the other, shaking walking down there holding on to a wig. Go ahead, get out of
I
here,
never
son.
understood it. I'm being honest. I never understood it. It was never that serious.
Bye. Supreme bright other, shalom, shalom. Yeah, just I don't know. People ain't got nothing to do on Sunday, so they was like, let's go to church, put on the show. All right, let's get back to this, y'all. Okay, listen. Page 159, chapter 7, countless mental vagaries. Hold on. Did we read this whole? Oh, we read this whole page already. Let's go to the second page. Page 160. Quote, the soul forever and forever, longer than the soil is brown and solid, longer than water ebbs and flows. I would not make a poem, nor the least part of a poem, but has reference to the soul. Was somebody asking to see the soul? How can the real body ever die and be buried? End quote. Walt Whitman from starting from Pumanak. Yes, Pumanak is a place. Okay. The Cymac craze, I think, is maxing out. Our current love affair with the almighty brain is the final act. For no physical thing, no organ, however wondrous and complex, can hold the secrets of consciousness, which has made but a temporary home in the brain. Brain research, though struts its stuff, hold on. Brain research, though, struts its stuff, and we remain enthralled to a series of pseudo breakthroughs. Beware of the hype. Exactly. Yo, listen. Yeah, they listen. Okay. Let me bring out something else about this. Evil, the evil series, right? Look, um, it says right here. Hold on. Brain research, though, struts its stuff, and we remain enthralled to a series of pseudo breakthroughs. Beware of the hype. And also, you will find out, and I haven't quite, like I said, I only watched up to episode 3 in this series called Evil. You will notice that when they go back, the three people, the two dudes and a girl, they go back to the actual head priest guy, and he gives them report. Okay, so what happened with this case? Is this a real case for demonic possession? Do we need to call in the exorcist? And I'm like, no, this was this. Okay, so what was this? This was this. This is what we found out. Somebody was tapping in. There wasn't really voices. It was this, So they break down and say, okay, well, case closed. Let's move to the next case, right? But with a couple of them, I noticed that when the group of 3, the researchers, when they find out that there is still something quite off, even though they solved this right here, there's like, well, there is something that we can't quite even though we figured this out, and they seem to be, everything seems to be well, but there's still something about this that's a little bit off. And but the priest now, he was like, well, okay, well, this case closed, let's move to the next one, we ain't got to worry about that. So I'm like, okay, something gonna happen, this is building up to something, because I'm like, maybe these are cases of, this is why I came back here, I started talking about this. Maybe these are cases of pseudo breakthroughs, right? Even the guy in charge said, okay, well, case solved, let's move on. But the group that's researching it still has doubts because of something that's not explainable just yet, that they still haven't cracked. But it's not big enough, so to speak, for the priest to say, okay, keep going and looking into that. They're just trying to close these cases that they have backed up at the church, where people are asking for exorcisms and all of these things, right? Because when people have had it up to here with people and their mental issues, they say, okay, then there must be demonic possession, we need to call a priest, right? So they say the church is backlogged, they needed help, which is how they got this lawyer on board, because the lawyer has a certain set of skills with looking into things and getting down to the bottom of stuff. They recruited her after she had been let go from a case. So there's a certain set of skills we need to check out and look at everything logically. But this some of these things we can see that they were pseudo breakthroughs, right? Okay, so listen. And I'm gonna get a couple previews from the first 3 seasons or a couple little snippets from the first 3 seasons from some of these cases. If they show them, I'm not sure how many different snippets from each season they got, but I'm gonna try and see what they have, and I can share some of it. Okay. Brain research, though, struts its stuff, and we remain enthralled to a series of pseudo breakthroughs. Beware of the hype. And it gives this list: 6 bullet points. The first one is OCD. Quote, strange compulsions may be governed by control centers in the brain. End quote. Rappaport, 1989, page 71. Schizophrenia. Quote, experts now agree that vulnerability to schizophrenia results largely from abnormal brain structure or biochemistry, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, page 47. Sleep disorders. This was one of the ones that we see in Evil, where the body is paralyzed and you have night terrors. They show that in there throughout, and they start where they can't move their body. We call it like a witch riding your back and stuff, but they even show that in there. And they're, oh, what was that? There's a medical term for it. I looked it up last night too. I had to pause it and I had to look it up. I was like, is that a real thing? Okay, so the lawyer had started as she began researching these cases, she started having night terrors, right? So in her training, she had looked up certain things, looking into cases, because there are a lot of people that take the insanity plea, right? They try to plead insanity. And so there's something called Warner's, I forget what it's called. I'm a short. Yeah, sleep paralysis. Thank you. But there's another name, something area. It start with a W. When she said it, I thought she said a V. So I typed it in, the V, what I thought I heard her say, area, but it came up. It's not Warner's, is Warren something. Mm, hold on. Hold on. I got it because I think I sent myself a video. One quick second. Hold on, Facebook. Preview, 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 preview. No, no. Where did I send it? I don't know what I did with it. I know I sent it to myself. Hold on, it's not coming up there. But I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna have to go back. But there's an actual medical term. And what it says is when this particular portion of the brain has been affected, it messes with your ability to speak clearly and to comprehend, not necessarily comprehend, but to speak clearly and to understand what you're hearing. But something she also found out is that to tell if you're dreaming, what she did, she wrote on she got like a little poster. She had this night terror, and she told her therapist about it. So he just kind of walking her through, and it's not real and stuff. So what she did, she got a poster and she wrote something on it and she taped it on her ceiling, right? And so when she taped it on her ceiling, she would be able to decipher whether this was really happening to her or if she was actually having a dream or a vision. Because in a dream, however this is explained, and she brought herself to when this creature was standing in front of her, literally messing with her, trying to cut off her fingers or whatever. She said, you're not real, this is not real. And she looked up at the thing, and when she couldn't read it, she realized that it wasn't real. And she repeated this like almost fluently. She said, whatever this word was, some area is a some, that's why you can't read while you're in a dream or a vision. This is not real. And it disappeared, right? And so it's going through the process of deconstructing what's real and what's not real. I'm like, holy crap, is that a real thing? And I had to pause it. I said, let me look this up. All right, it's giving me something, because I have sometimes some dreams that are not so nice and they scare the crap out of me, right? So I'm like, is this real or was this not real? Night terror. And I be trying to decipher. I was like, well, oh shoot, so I don't know that I'm gonna stick something up on my ceiling, but maybe I'll stick something on my dresser, a sign or something, just check. Okay, Warner's area or something like that. This is not real. Get out of here. This is But I'm looking, it's really, really interesting to me because I have a lot of dreams and visions and stuff, right? And sometimes trying to decipher what's reality and what's not. Sometimes it gets kind of hard sometimes, right? Um, so it's crazy, but I thought it was really good. I'm a post that. I gotta get, it's not Warner's, I said Warner's, but it starts with a W. And it has to deal with, like I said, that section of the brain, and it also affects the frontal lobe. So they're saying sometimes when people having these things and they're having like they're trying to explain away like the spiritual side of it, like it doesn't exist. It's something that's malfunctioning in the body that's causing this to happen. So every time they explain it away, there is something that sticks out that they can't quite understand. It's like how do we explain this? And the priest like, you know what, case closed, let's move on to the next one. And they looking like they ain't saying nothing, but they it kind of slows down and they look at their eyes and they looking like, why is the priest saying this? Why doesn't he want to look into this further? Right. So now I'm thinking the priest, he don't really want to get out here and do this exorcism. They just trying to filter through these cases as fast as possible. But these are people that's falling through the cracks, and they get these pseudo breakthroughs of what's happening. Next thing you know, the guy whom we thought we had healed and it was somebody hacking his system, he done just jumped off the building while you were on the phone talking to me, tell you, you know what, he's been great, everything is fine. But while you were on the phone talking, that same voice came out the yard and switched up the system, and all of this stuff started talking to him again. And he walks out and he literally jumps off the building and kills himself. Right. So I'm just like, yo, look, okay. What is y'all talking about doing laps? Hold on. Hold on. The Oregon. What Oregon? I didn't miss all these comments. Oh wait, y'all talking about what Jeremiah's talking about in church. The church shenanigans. Run, yo, I done been to some churches where they get up and they start running, right? Don't let nobody get up running and the organ ain't playing. They just hype them up. Then everybody start jumping up and down. And I mean, I get it. Sometimes you just get the joy of the Lord down in your soul. And you got to break out in praise. I get it, right? But sometimes it's like, look, I ain't come here for this today. Let's go ahead and get in and get out. All right, look, hold on. Okay. Y'all, please don't get up and, I mean, if you feel it deep down in your shot, nah. Hey, go run some laps, do some laps. Praise the creator. I was about to say, praise the Lord. Okay, let's get back to this list. Okay. Okay. Let me reread this sentence and I'm gonna start the list over. Brain research, though, struts its stuff, and we remain enthralled to a series of pseudo breakthroughs. Beware of the hype. The first one, OCD. Quote, strange compulsions may be governed by control centers in the brain. Rappaport, 1989, page 71. Schizophrenia. Quote, experts now agree that vulnerability to schizophrenia results largely from an abnormal brain structure or biochemistry, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, page 47. Sleep disorders, night terrors can be considered a minor abnormality in the brain's sleep-wake mechanisms, end quote. Hartman, 1984, page 232. Hysteria, symptoms can presumably be caused by lesions on the nervous system. The next one is Tourette's syndrome. Quote, seems to be a neurological disease involving a chemical abnormality in the brain, end quote. Martin, 1976, page 11. Bipolar, quote, manic depressive illness is primarily a medical condition, not a personal weakness. Once they learn that this is a chemical disease, they experience a great sense of relief, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, pages 23 through 24, they use Roman numerals, and page 144 and 53. And something Now, this right here, the science part of it, what I'm understanding, they're not they're explaining it away without still identifying what happened to them when they get in this case. So maybe they do have like strange compulsions, or maybe there was some type of injury to the brain, or whatever this is, abnormality, vulnerability to certain things. Maybe that was the case, but it put them in a weakened state to allow their own personal auras and their spirits to be invaded by other entities, right? So this is only what they're giving you is only half of the truth. Like, you absolutely cannot discount the spiritual side, and them and other entities being able to step into your aura, so to speak, into your spirit or into your body, and push you to the back seat while they take over the steering wheel and drive your car around town crashing into everybody. Yeah, childhood trauma. It's a lot of different things that causes these doors to be open. While the medical field is diagnosing you with medical terms and stuff, they're not quite yet doing a full assessment. And that training, or people need to be trained to do that appropriately. They need to team up with some people who are truly spiritual and understand some of these things. Like Susan B. Martinez would be a great reference for psychologists and police investigators and lawyers and stuff. Like, they need people like her, who are studying, and she's actually going through and done some of these cases, picking out things and just setting things in its proper place. And we read here at the end of this last book, yeah, the last chapter, the unseen guest, how they came together in multiple countries. They let them know, okay, well, this is a true case of spirit invasion, right? And so they got people that they knew that believed the same, and we gonna help get this person free, right? Everybody in their own time zone is going down March the 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Figure out what time that is there, so we can all, this line of light can be going at the same time. And they said the power of that concerted effort and prayer, and the deliverance for this person truly got them free. It dislodged those spirits from out of this particular person, right? That's what we heard about yesterday, at the end of yesterday's video, when before we started the case study, right? So that gives a detail of that. If you missed that, go back and listen to that. That was really, really good. And that's what we need right there, right? Okay, let's see, where we at. 32 minutes here. Who was at what time? It was about an hour and a half. It's 9 o'clock now. We started, yeah, an hour and a half. Started at 7:30, 9 o'clock. Okay, let me finish this page. I'll go down to the end of page 162 and we're gonna pause. Okay. Page 161 at the top. These false assurances, shifting the blame to, quote, abnormal body chemistry, end quote, certainly a boon to Big Pharma, are nonetheless shoddy science. Are we quite certain that the, quote, chemical imbalance, end quote, in question is a cause of the disorder rather than an effect? That's really good. Sure, human nature would like nothing better than a pill that alleviates our dis-ease or disease, but dis-ease. But that still leaves, quote, countless mental vagaries, end quote, that respond only marginally, if at all, to chemical intervention. Classification, of course, is an inherent part of any science, but our vaunted categories and our very definitions will not get us far. I am talking about today's standard diagnosis categories for mental problems. In general, anything that is not outright psychosis is called a disorder, a mood disorder, or a personality disorder, or a character disorder. Giving it a name, though, does not mean we have found it out. The name, most would probably admit, is merely a label of convenience. Yet, even here, there is a subtext. Until the modern era, when psychiatry took hold, aberrant behavior was ascribed to spirits. To change the name from spirit possession to mental illness does not change the facts. Indeed, by doing so, we forfeit the last secret key to mind. The exclusion of Psyche's paranormal adventures has hobbled the science of man, which now comes up blank and impotent in the face of countless psychopathologies. Take MPD, for example. MPD is multiple personality disorder. Take MPD, for example. For a long time, MPD was quietly listed in DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, under, quote, hysterical neurosis, end quote, or, quote, borderline, excuse me, borderline personality disorder, end quote. This was one disorder that did not respond well to chemical treatment. Indeed, quote, treatment for most multiples was a guess and go situation, end quote. Chase, 1987, page 100. Them spirits eating that medicine up. Give me some more. they they taking them them psychiatric pills, popping them like mollies. Boy, listen, and they still there hanging out. Here. They think we gone. Oh, give me the blue kind. Blue. We got red. Both of them. Red pill up. Give us both. We're gonna show you how both work. Listen. Take MPD, for example. For a long time, MPD was quietly listed in DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, under, quote, hysterical neurosis, end quote, or borderline personality disorder, end quote. Hey, babe. This was one disorder that did not respond well to chemical treatment. Indeed, quote, treatment for most multiples was a guess and go situation, end quote. Chase, 1987, page 100. The experts, quote, admitted they just weren't sure what was going on. The doctor's comments were as wishy-washy as everybody else's, end quote. Castle and Betchel, 1989, page 71 and 216. Stumped by this mysterious disorder, much of the profession simply wished it away. Quote, there is no such thing as multiple personality. More likely what you saw is a resistance to treatment, end quote. Dr. Mayer was told by his supervisor. As Mayer recalls, quote, I had spent 8 years training at the American Institute for Psychotherapy and Psychoanalysis and not once had the subject of multiple personality come up, end quote. The number of reported cases of MPD, quote, seem absurdly low, end quote. Only 200 cases documented since the early 1800s, even though the disorder has a, quote, long, well-documented history, end quote, under different names. Mayer, 1989, pages 23, 25, and 29. As the husband of one multiple put it, quote, unless the treatment facility specializes in MPD, he may hear yet another psychiatrist tell him, well, your wife has atypical depression with psychotic features. We'll keep her here for a while and try some different medications. End quote. Cohen et al., 1991, page 210. Multiples like Billy Milligan were crying out, quote, the shrieks don't know what to do because they can't figure out what is wrong. My doctors have made it clear they do not believe in multiple personality, end quote. Instead, they diagnosed him with, quote, hysterical neurosis involving many passive aggressive features, end quote. Keys, 1981, page 21, page 397, and page 178. But Billy had 24 honest to goodness alters. He was clearly multiple. Yes, there were passive aggressive features. MPs, in fact, often present with a range of upsets, like Beverly R., who reports, quote, I have been incorrectly diagnosed as having depression, psychosis, neurosis, and the list goes on. Manic depressive was probably the most popular. All of the incorrect diagnoses were actually symptoms of MPD, end quote. Cohen et al., 1991, page 54. Speaking of manic depressive, this quote, mood disorder, end quote, overlaps so extensively with other maladies that we have to wonder how serviceable our neat little categories are in the first place. Also known as bipolar disorder, manic depression varies from case to case and is not infrequently associated with phobias, paranoia, panic attacks, ADD, MPD, narcissistic personality disorder, MPD, OCD, anorexia, and schizophrenia. Our categories, in short, are fairly ineffective if they cannot account for all the other mental vagaries they entail. Something is definitely missing. So let us make a bold step into the paranormal arena. Quote, the repression of psychic gifts is conducive to any kind of psychiatric disorder. End quote. Arthur Girdham, The Psychic Dimensions of Mental Health. Maybe I should have stopped where this line was. Okay, let me finish reading this next page and then I'll end because it has a line. So let me finish this little portion right here. Stumbling, hold on. Does it reflect the teachings in Oahspe? You talking about this? Absolutely. The lady, uh, Supreme Bright Other, she's actually studied Oahspe and spent time researching scientifically some of these things, not just like in the science realm, but also in the medical field, going through with different cases and stuff and um looking at what Oahspe says in regards to some of these things, right? So all of this stuff kind of goes together. I'm glad you said that. Essene Gospel of Peace. I was about to bring that up a few minutes ago, right over here when it was because we're going to read the same gospel of peace next, right over here where it starts talking and start listing all of these manic depressive mood disorder. I wish I had it down here. Any scenes gospel of peace, there is major connections inside of that, right? Okay, so remember my first time ever not hearing about fasting. But I remember one of my older pastors always saying, he's saying, if you're having any type of issues, and this is, and I would add, if you still have control over your vehicle and your issues aren't like out of control where you need outside help, fasting is one of your go-to saviors that can help rid you of spirits that may be trying to encroach upon you, maybe trying to infiltrate you, help you to get your own self under control. But it seems gospel of peace goes deep into that, right? Especially into the fasting and different things that happen with the body. It actually refers to some of the diseases of the body. It refers to those things as demons and evils and satans and stuff that happen within the body, right? And every time you fast, and like every day that you fast, say that you go on a longer fast, every day that you fast, like a complete, well, not a complete fast would be without nothing, but don't do that. If you fast, do like a water feast, so to speak, right? Fast from everything. And what'll happen is if you're doing a longer one, every day it's like one day of fasting will restore a year's worth of time in your life. Like we heard about that. That wasn't new to me when I read this recently in there. I heard Ezekiel talking about it when I was reading through the book of Ezekiel. Remember, he laid on his side for 300 and something days, and then he flipped over to the other side for like 400 days. And um it said that for every day that he laid on his side was what was it? I don't want to mix it up, but it was a year. I'm about to screw it up. um he was laying on his side for Israel, and for every year was like a repentance. A year was forgiven for like every day. I probably didn't screw that up. It's been a while since I read over that, but that was the first time I heard about that. But in the Essene's Gospel of Peace, it talks about how when you fast every day, it restores like a whole year's worth of your life that you didn't just tricked away or through bad eating, different things like that. And it really begins to call out different foods. And when you eat flesh, how it destroys the body and how it breaks it down. And as you begin to stop consuming flesh and you begin to honor your mother, which is referring to the earth, right? Because we come from the earth. We're half earth and we're half spirit. The mother is referred to the earth and the father is creator, right? So when we keep the commands and the laws of our mother, our days are made long on earth and our life is restored, right? So we stop violating the laws of nature and we become one. And they refer to water is like washing through. It's like the angel of water, cleansing the body, washing all the toxins and poisons out from the flesh and all the bad eating. And the air that you breathe in and take in, it washes out all the bad smells. They call it the angel of air, right? And as your body begins to cleanse, the angel of peace comes, and the angel of wisdom, because now you didn't put your body and your spirit back in tune with your mother and your father, and they can speak to you clearly. And as you obey the laws of your mother and you walk in those ways, now you can go out with the father and learn higher laws. It is so freaking amazing, and I'm kind of bummed that I'm just learning about it in the last month or so, right? But we definitely going to read it after we're done with this. But it talks about that a lot, right? And even there's a lot of mental things that can be corrected through fasting and just get in line by stop violating certain things. So that takes care of a big spiritual portion of some of the things that could be happening with us, right? And so also we learned, like, when you stop consuming flesh, it kind of closes that door, like to where they're trying to medicate people with different drugs and stuff to kind of drown out the voices, whatever they say they're hearing. What'll happen is when you begin to starve these entities of the things that they're gaining sustenance on that you are consuming, i.e., bad foods and flesh and stuff. And they even talk about mixing certain foods. And anybody that's gotten older and you're still mixing foods and stuff, like if I make a salad, there are certain things I can't put on my salad because it will mess with my digestive tract. Certain foods I can't mix. Well, when you mixing stuff, it seems gospel of peace say you got what is it? Hot boiling bogs, if I got that right, in your belly. And recently, like I forget what I had, but I had something that it didn't quite agree with me, and it had that I mixed something that I shouldn't have when I ate, and it started giving me that digestive problem again. And I heard, because I had just read, it's like hot boiling bogs in your belly. It starts happening. It really like breaks it down. I'm like, holy crap. So there's certain things you should mix. Just like look at the fruits and stuff. You shouldn't mix sweet fruits with citrus fruits like bananas and grapes and stuff. Don't mix them because it causes this war, so to speak, to go on in your belly. But you can, if you're going to eat sweet fruits, eat only sweet fruits. Like if you're eating banana, just like eat bananas. And like the water, the more alkaline fruits like watermelons, like keep all the melons together, like watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew. You can eat all of them together without any kind of repercussion happening inside your belly, right? And citrus fruits, don't mix citrus fruits with anything else, but you can eat them all together, like oranges, lemons, grapes, kiwi, stuff like. You can keep them together, but don't mix them with anything else. And it takes about 30 minutes for that to digest in your system if you want to eat something else. So if you want some fruit, you eat it first and then wait 30 minutes before you eat something else, or vice versa, right? So that's some things you got to learn about the body and to keep your gut healthy for the long term, right? Those are just like rules of nature. It doesn't necessarily really bother you early in life because your system is, it's brand new, it's operating. But as you're getting older, it becomes a little more sensitive to the things that you put in your body. And when you're younger, if you know, or your parents know, you should just start practicing that habit early so you don't grow up with bad habits. And now you got to deal with stomach pains and ulcers and things because of bad habits that your parents have taught you and modeled before you growing up, right? So it's really, really good. I wish I had it down here. I would read that part about hot, steaming, boiling bogs in your belly. It's kind of gross, but it makes so much sense. But fasting will deliver you from a lot of stuff. And when you fast, you water fast, like I said, it will dislodge spirits from you because they're no longer getting any kind of sustenance from you. You're not eating flesh and blood. Remember, because if you're consuming death, they're there and they get that savior. Think about the priesthood in the Bible that we've been fooled about, right? The Israelite priesthood, there were lies that were put in there. That priesthood was not, they thought they were sacrificing to creator, right, to Yah, but it really wasn't. As you begin to learn history and you begin to understand that our creator is, he truly gives life and life more abundantly. He does not tell us to go do something that will cause us to die, even if it's to feed our belly, right? He does not tell us to consume flesh. First of all, murder, human or beast, is forbidden by him. And you're not to slaughter beasts for the sake of your belly. It doesn't matter if our ancestors did it, or if the meat wasn't had all them pesticides and chemicals back then. They were still violating the laws of the creator, even nobody wants to talk about it. How do we know? Because science proves it now. You can just do it in your own body. You can eat only the clean meats and it will still break your body down. That's what kind of woke me up a little bit, because I'm like, hold on, I'm eating the clean meats. I ain't eating the pig no more. I cut all this stuff out of my diet for such a long time. Why am I still being affected? It's meat, period. We should not be consuming other sentient beings. I don't care what anybody say, how religious, how Hebrew they may be. It's wrong. Your body will die early. You are violating a law of your mother and your father, the earth and the spirit. You're violating those laws. And by violating those laws, there are repercussions. You get disease in your body. Things start breaking down, breaking off, and blowing out from clean meats. And that was happening to me. And I was only eating clean meats, still breaking my body down, right? And it wasn't till I decided to test and put those things away when my body began to restore itself in places that should not have been breaking down in my 30s, right? So I'm just saying, yes, meat makes your blood run hot and acidic. I love that. It absolutely does, right? Okay. So let me finish reading this. Look. Hey, son. Did you come in last night? Or you just coming in now? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, y'all. Okay. Let's read this last little page and finish this portion right here. But what you need? Hold on, y'all. Yeah. Perfect. They're not running temperature still, right? Okay. 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 All right. Okay. Let me read this right here, and then we'll be done. And I'm a pull. I know we probably won't be in that for like another couple of weeks, but I'm gonna pull that section out and I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna see if I can find a PDF of it. And I think there is. Yeah, I'll find a PDF or the online link for it so you can see it, and I'll point it out. That way you can read it for yourself. And it gives you the itis, right? Look, okay. Page 163. Stumbling in darkness. Simat has, for all the wrong reasons, boycotted the paranormal, which is tantamount to boycotting the soul. Yet, when the human soul gets caught in the vortex of dissociative gravity, that new dimension may pull us down. It doesn't matter that you call it the tunnel, the outer darkness, the shades, the astral, a separate reality, locale two, whatever you call it. Excuse me. It is essentially the same thing, the unseen, non-physical side of life with a force of its own. And it is in this dimension that the inexplicables of human psychology take shape. It is in this dimension that we are too open to the disembodied souls wandering about in the shadows. It is in this precarious dimension that the altars, drawn to multiples, wait their turn to come out and, quote, take the spot, end quote, as MPD lingo puts it. It is in this dimension that bipolar people pick up, quote, phantom illnesses, end quote, and, quote, unexplainable physical symptoms, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, page 243 and 31. No wonder bipolars overlap with multiples and even with the possessed. The pattern of overshadowing is hardly different. It is not unusual for the manic depressive to show overt signs of entity possession. Such signs include: one, it's a bullet point list of 4 things, and after that, we're going to end. Number one, Corporal Leia, quote, she, bipolar, was calling John, husband, every name you could think of, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, page 12. The next one is different persona, said the wife of a bipolar, quote, that's another person in his skin, not the one I married, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, page 230. The third one is rapid cycling, quote, rapid cyclers are like yo-yos and feel as though they are being helplessly manipulated by some force outside themselves, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, page 35. Rapid cycling is one way of describing the bipolar's mood swings, an incessant change of plans, attitudes, or even appearance. And the last one is logorrhea, aka motor mouth. Quote, he talked a mile a minute, end quote. Duke and Hodgman, 1992, page 229. And we're going to pause right here and we'll get into the logorrhea portion tomorrow. Right, so we'll pick up and I'll probably reread this list and just kind of go right through here where it gives the details of it in a little bit more detail. Sheesh, I just saw somebody have 400 altars. This statement by Jenny, tortured literally super multiple with more than 400 altars, suggests that something was, quote, eating at her. Ooh. Or more specifically, that her altars, the others, were consuming her. That's on page 166. That's just kind of like caught my eye. Okay, so we're going to pause right here, y'all. I put it right here, at page 163. This was good. Okay, so thank y'all for hanging out today. I'm gonna get, hold on, look at this, evil, and then he sings gospel of peace, PDF, and I'm gonna pull out that snippet from there about the hot bogs. It's so gross, but it makes so much sense. All right, y'all. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding us about tonight, Tickler. She said, see everyone tonight, 6 p.m. sharp. So the ladies will be doing a live at 6 p.m. Somebody post the link in here. Somebody got a wrench. Post the link for tonight. If it's already, is it already up? Is it already up? The link for the live tonight that y'all doing? Yeah, post it in here. I forget what the title gonna be, but if it's there, post it, and I'll repost it to the community section, reminding everybody. So thank y'all for hanging out today, y'all. It is Sunday, December the 4th, 2022, day 279 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,299. Tomorrow, y'all, be 1,300 days that we have been here consistently, with the exception of the Sabbath days that we take off, right? Every week we take out a Sabbath. So if you add in a Sabbath, 3 years, remember, it's 52 weeks in a year, 52 Sabbaths. So add 52 times 3 plus the amount of, well, shucks, you might as well, because we're at the end of the year, right? We only got, 3 more Sabbaths, right? So you add in, go ahead and just add in the other 52 times 4, right? That's over 200 something days. Added into that, that's how long we've been here doing this, right? Just going through learning different things, trying to bring out clarity from the scriptures. What is truth? What is error? What has been added to scripture? What has been taken away? What are things that the Bible alludes to? Then we started reading those things. We started going through the Apocrypha and the different things and the other books and things that they tell us not to look at because it's a cult, but we found out there's answers there, it's pieces to the puzzles there. Just like the religious people got books and manuals, so do the people whom they call New Age and evil have their manuals and books as well. And by looking into some of them, they tell some of the same exact stories just from their perspective on what was happening, right? You can find that in like the Nebuchadnezzar tablets, a lot of the different things. I got all kinds of stuff, right? Kind of bringing clarity to Israel and what's really been happening on all sides, right? For a bigger, clearer picture, and it brings us up till today, right? And there are some spirits that have been here for a very, very long time, still hanging about the earth, right? So we're just trying to make sure we have clarity, make sure we're growing spiritually. So when it's our turn to pass our flesh back to Mother Earth, to the dirt, and time for us to transcend on up out of here, we don't get stuck here in this realm. We can keep growing, right? All right, and as we grow, we help our brothers and sisters grow, and we kind of grow together in groups. Some people may fall off, go to different groups, but it's all a part of our own individual growth process. But as a whole, we should be constantly progressing higher and higher, lighter and lighter, more wisdom and everything with the Father flowing through us, right? All right. So with that being said, beautiful people, I love y'all. About to be out of here. We've been here for a little over 2 hours today. The first video, it was glitching, so I'm not sure what was happening. I guess I just needed to restart everything because I don't think I had any issues with glitching when we restarted back up. So the first half, the first video is going to be part one. This portion right here going to be part two. So I'm gonna label it that way, and just when you watch it over, if you watch it over, just remember it's two parts of today. And yes, I talked when we cut the last video off, I kind of talked extensively about evil. Shebrew says she about to go watch evil. I talked extensively about that, on why I think it's great that we watch that while we're reading this, because it has like case studies and stuff in there. And along with that series, what is happening all over the world. Like we talk about the mom and the son in a washing machine, and the Walmart incident, and um um the 10-year-old boy. But also something that could be added to this is the Shanquilla thing, right? Now that may not necessarily be that could be more on a part of playing crazy, so to speak, right? So it's still details that need to come out about that. But all of these things I'm looking at, see where the spiritual comes into play. Like and I only say that because it happened in Mexico, and recently there have been a string of murders of American people, at least the ones that we heard about on the news, coming from Mexico. I know they had their own little individual thing going on with the Cabo Six and everything, and it seemed like it's separate, but it still happened in Mexican territory, which leads me to believe the spirits that are hovering over Mexico or of the murderous nature right now. It's like at an all-time high, because a lot of people, like I said, at least the ones that we've heard about, it's been multiple people. Um, um, Another young lady here from Virginia Beach, we talked about shortly after we heard about Shanquilla. Her from here in Virginia Beach, she had the candle company. She went down to Mexico with two of her friends. They found all three of them inside of their Airbnb, and they were dead, right? So they said, well, it's carbon monoxide poisoning, So I'm just like, it's something else is happening. And something I believe, I think about with a little bit more information that's coming out with about the Shanquilla case. I think they haven't said it yet, but it seems like okay, so it seems like, based on the latest information I've seen, there's a lot of fabrication happening with the medical records and things from the hotel and staff and people being paid off. So now I'm actually wondering, why would medical staff lie about something like this, right? Like the first set before they actually got the autopsy and show how she died, right? Why would these people be in cahoots right? So now I'm thinking that this particular Airbnb, they just happened to get caught up going to the wrong Airbnb where they were able to pay people off. I'm thinking now that this Airbnb is a part of a bigger conspiracy that's going on in Mexico. It could be, and don't quote me, these are just my thoughts when I'm looking at all of this stuff, trying to figure this out. This Airbnb or hotel, wherever they had staff at, I'm thinking this may be a part of some sex trafficking or drug trafficking ring for you to have professionals come out who are now fired police officers that they fired because they found out they were lying. I'm like, why would they lie? Professionals on official documents and stuff, right? Uh so I'm thinking that there's granted they got their issues that happen with them, but their issues added on top another big issue, and I'm thinking they lied because they didn't want to bring attention to the particular Airbnb or place that they were at because there's other shenanigans going on there which caused people who were on whatever payrolls or had getting kickbacks from wherever this location was to falsify reports and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking, because this is it's another twist and turn every day, right? So I'm following a lot of this little stuff, and not just following it for gossip, but I'm really looking at the spiritual side of things. For one, I really want to start looking at the well, it's gaining national attention now, but I had already been looking at Mexico because remember I told you that's what we was taking this summer coming up. Our family trip, and all these things started happening, and Mexico has been in the news. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, babe, we need to rethink going to Mexico because I'm not sure what's happening with the principalities and the powers in the air over Mexico, but we not about to take our family into that, right? So we changed it. We completely put Mexico off the list for now, right? And so we're going somewhere else this summer, taking our family. So that's why I really started looking into this, and I'm just like, something else is happening here, right? So, but yes, it's a lot of corruption. She was saying like the hotel in Chicago where Kanika got killed. Who was that? I don't know if I heard about it. I may have. I may have. I just forgot. Yeah. Tabitha said we black folks acting crazy lately. Sis, it's being more publicized lately. Like, cause let me not even get into it. Cause when I found out the Walmart shooter was black, I was like, he was black. It's like it's throwing me. I'm like, yo, and granted, it should not have, because it's not like we haven't had these things all along. It just hasn't been publicized like it is right now. But like I mentioned before the other day, we've been having this type of stuff happen in black communities for a while. They just label them different. They call them drive-bys, right? And they unload on people's houses, they businesses, but it's the same thing. A little bit different, but the same thing. The dynamics are just a little bit different, but it's the same thing. But to do it in this fashion on grounds or territory where normally other races of people pull these type of shenanigans was like a shock to my sha-na-na. I mean, deep down within my sha-na-na, like, what's going on? And so, what? Hebrew? Kanika friends invites her to a hotel and beat her to death, and her organs were taken. What? Yo, that's crazy. When was that? I'm gonna have to go look that up. Who was found? Yeah, like all this is crazy. Oh, snap. Hold on. There was something my husband was oh, wait. There was something my husband was watching last night. He said, "Babe, come look at this." He said, "Aren't y'all talking about this in the morning?" He was watching. Ooh, I wrote it down upstairs. It's called it had this. It had a couple different people with mental illnesses and stuff that they was researching. Hold on. It was called Drugs Inc. Drugs Inc. It was season. I'm trying to remember what it looked like. I think it was season 1, episode 13. I think it was season 1, episode 13. It's upstairs. I'm gonna get that link and I'm gonna show this particular one to y'all. Yo, this was crazy. Um, let me find it. I think I might be able to pull it up. It was on the Discovery Channel. The show was called Drugs Inc. And it was just kind of going through this, and they just showing different clips of different things. And this one particular guy got up there and he was talking about, they was talking about the drugs and fentanyl and everything, and how when people ingest these drugs, it literally turns them into a different person, right? But we know drugs is one, whether they're prescribed or whether they're given to you by doctors, it puts the native spirit in abeyance and allows other spirits that are hovering about to invade you. But I thought this was really good. Y'all, so much stuff that I'm coming across, so I want to show it y'all. I know y'all may not be able to watch everything. But these are some good things to kind of look at and think about, and just really think about these things, because if we understand it better, we can inform people, we can update our education on what's actually happening. Not just, I think the Just Say No drugs program needs to be updated. Not just say no because it'll ruin your life. You might lose all your teeth. You might be out here turning tricks for $1 just to get a hit of crack. Not stuff like that, but that stuff is true. But also, we need to bring the spiritual portion in and show some of these cases of what happens, not just mentally, but spiritually, what happens, right? And I think I'm so grateful for technology, for being able to catch some things, even if you have a certain type of camera with heat sensors, whatever, you can actually pick up spiritual movement of people, spiritual movement, people who are already disembodied. Now, I know sometimes it's depending on where you at. Even though with the advancement of technology, you also have the increase of skepticism with people that believes things are doctored up and that's been photoshopped, right? So people still have, with the increase of technology, the disbelief just rises also, because people, and they got reason to believe that some of this stuff might not be true, that somebody is faking this, right? But I think we just gotta keep moving along and doing our due diligence, catching what we can catch, proving what we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that this could not be made up. This here. And a lot of people, until they have something supernatural or something spooky or something happen to them where it shakes their spirit, where they're like, wait a minute, now I don't believe in prayer, but I know something ain't right about this, and we need some supernatural help or something, because there is something evil inherent here, right? And until people have that realization that there is more than just this physical life here in action now, I don't think they're gonna really get it, and they're gonna keep just trying to explain things away in the physical and completely discount the spiritual portion of life, when we are ourselves spirits that just hold a physical body for a short period of time, but we never cease being spirits. We just cease the ability to hang on to a body, right? So I'm just like, yo, oh my gosh, we need to update education in all areas, medical, psychology, darn physical jobs, working out on a farm, working in Walmart. People need to be aware of the spirits that work for them. I'm just, I could talk about this all day. We got to get out of here. I'm gonna share some clips. I'm gonna share some clips of evil. Make sure y'all watch that. I'm gonna share all the stuff that I said I was gonna share this particular episode from Drugs Inc. Evil, the Scenes Gospel of Peace, and the snippet of the hot dogs in the belly. All right, I love y'all. And Father, hold on. Father, we thank you that your love continually teaches. Like there is no end to your teaching and how you do it lovingly for all your children. We just thank you that your teaching is above all else. And it's good for all. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I gotta go ahead and get out of here. They posted the link in here for the live tonight. Thank you, Shebrew. I just saw you gave me the link for Kanika. Post that here. So did you post it here? Post that link over here while we're still live so people can get it. The link you just sent me, if people didn't know about that. Thank you, I got it. But post it here too so they can see it. So it's there. Because we're about to end it. You only got maybe like 2 minutes to still post in the chat after I end it. So remember, if y'all got links to different things, if you got a wrench, feel free to post it in or tell. If you ain't got one, tell us about something. Somebody can look it up real quick and we can share the reference and like look into stuff. Right. All right, y'all. So that's it. Shebrew, if you don't post it, I'm not sure if you're still listening, but if you don't post it, soon as I end, I'll grab it from over here and I'll post it for everybody so y'all can still catch it. All right, y'all. So I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Find it.
Peace. Go ahead. That was Facebook. Go ahead and YouTube.
All right, goodbye.
BC. Peace.